Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, my name is Resin22, and today I'm going to be giving you all my live commentary on some Expert Age of Empires 2 games between Mentalist and Seoul. These matches are from the Empire Collective Cup, which is a round-robin style tournament hosted by myself and ZeroEmpires that features many of the top players from around the world. What makes this tournament particularly exciting is of course the settings. In each of these 4-game series, neither player will know which civilization their opponent chose until the game begins. In Game 4, the Huns, Aztecs, Mayans, and Vikings will be banned, and the map will be chosen at random from a pool of 15 different maps. Alright, so without further ado, let me Alt-Tab to turn on the music, and we'll jump straight into this here game. Introduce these players. Alright, so on the right side of the map, we have Mentalist playing as the blue Vikings, and 2 inches to his left, we have Seoul playing as the red Mongols. My god, these guys are right next to each other. It looks like, based off my deductive skills, guys, Detective Resonance has determined that this is the map Border Dispute, where you spawn 5 inches across from your opponent. And as the last game in the series, good lord, is Seoul gonna call for a remake? I think he's just joking, as these two have so far been hilarious, and I've really been enjoying casting their series. Of course, if you guys missed out on any of the games, you can find plenty of them on my YouTube channel, or ZeroEmpires' YouTube channel as well. My goodness. Border Dispute is a great way to go close out this series, as right now we're 2-1. It's not a best of 4, it's just 4 games. And, well, with these guys, like, right next to each other, there's gonna be a crazy amount of aggression, both players also being the Mongols. Means that they're going to get to the feudal age really quickly with their hunting bonus and just do some serious damage. By the gods. Well, either way, we see both players here just making a lot of villagers getting started. There's just been so much Mongols, just non-stop Mongols mirror. And that's because basically once you ban out the Huns, Aztecs, Mayans, and Vikings, then really the Mongols are kind of like the next choice in line for the most part. The Mongols come to mind as sort of that 5th civ in the incredibly powerful trifecta due to just their, really powerful hunting bonus. Like, if we look at this, hunters work 50% faster. That bonus is nuts! Also, scouts having an extra 2 line of sight is pretty good too. As we can see, it's definitely making a difference here. But the 50% faster hunting is crazy, and that's why we see both players here really prioritizing their hunt, trying to, lure their deer in by pushing it in with their units, because deer do try and run away from any units that are near them, and then try and get their boar pretty early too. Look how many sheep Seoul has, as he has claimed control of almost all of the sheep on the map. So Mentalist here, gonna starve. Seriously, the dude has, like, no food resources whatsoever, whereas I don't think Seoul has to make farms for another 30 years, perhaps. He might not have to make farms until the end of this game. Whereas Mentalist really is going to have to, as he has 2 sheep left. He's got these 2 deer, he'll have enough food to get to the next age, but he won't have enough food to really do too much beyond that. Seoul, super duper rich. There's also pretty good mill placement, as it's like right next to the deer and right next to said bush. Yeah, I know the Black Winds. I mean, I'm cast for so long. 5 civs trifecta. I don't know. What would I call it then? The penta? The pentafecta? Well, either way, those are the pentagon of incredibly powerful civs in Age of Empires 2, guys. Both players, of course, on their way to the feudal age. Mentalist on his way up. Seoul basically at exactly the same time. I think Mentalist is like ahead by like 2%, but it doesn't really matter. When it comes to Border Dispute, what kind of strategies can we expect from both players? The answer are towers, towers, towers. You're going to see a tower rush, especially from Mentalist here. Why else would you have 5 on stone? You're either going for mass outposts, mass forward stone walls, or you're going for a tower rush. We know he's going for a tower rush because look at his population. 18 out of 25, ridiculously early feudal time. This is how we know that it's most certainly not like an early castle, like a fast castle age in a Mangadai or something like that. We know for a fact it's a tower rush, because he's going to the feudal age like super early, and a tower rush only works when you get to the feudal age really quickly. And the Mongols are certainly a civ that can get to the feudal age fast, because they're quicker hunting. 5 on stone, it's either mass outposts or mass watchtowers, and we're going to see some forward watchtower action. Since you're so close to your opponent, You get to do so much damage with the watchtowers by zoning your opponent off all of his resources. It's very, very potent, and that's exactly what we see in Border Dispute. It's going to be a crazy cripple fight here, as both players are going to cover the map in watchtowers and going to have to run their villagers away from said watchtowers and survive as long as they can. Both players up to the feudal age exactly, or really close to the same time. 2 watchtowers coming down. Soul's going to get us up first, though, because he's more villagers on this, even though Mentalist started building his before. And what this means, though, is that, like, once you have a watchtower, you kind of create this zone of denial, this evil circle in which, you know, none shall pass. No other watchtowers can be built in said zone. So by building this watchtower here, it's really hard for Mentalist to be able to go build his own. And you know what's really cute, guys? You know what's the cutest thing I've seen all day? And I've seen a lot of cute things today. Is this play by Seoul. This man builds this watchtower right between Mentalist's 2 houses. Why? Because it makes it harder for Mentalist to be able to surround it with villagers and just take it down by, you know, stabbing it to death or whatever villagers actually do. Or they just pull out their police baton. I'm not quite sure what they're whacking with. Sticks? Knives? I think it's a knife. Knifing a tower to death doesn't sound very efficient, but regardless, yeah, he's actually building this watchtower between these 2 houses, so Mentalist either has to delete his 2 houses, which nobody would actually do, that's crazy, or he just has a much harder time surrounding it, so that's pretty cool. I like that play there. Subtle, didn't really matter here, but it was still interesting to look at, as both players here are going to trade watchtowers as if nothing happened, and now we're going to reset to state 0. But in the meantime, Mentalist here with a watchtower flank. And he's going to get shanked to death by these villagers. As welcome to Border Dispute, guys. The cripple fight of the century is both players going to be stabbing each other with villagers, stabbing the watchtowers of villagers, and Soul's going to pull out. There are only 2 villagers here in a scout. I think he could just kill this. Either way, he's going to surrender that. Soul also flanking with a watchtower, and this is also a great watchtower placement, if not amazing watchtower placement, as there's no way to get to this watchtower. He's making great use of the terrain here, saving as many palisades as he can. Remember, guys, watchtowers can't shoot at any units that are at the base of them. They have a minimum range, so by putting these palisade walls here, the watchtower is always able to shoot at something, and it's really hard to take down the watchtower. And by building it surrounded by the terrain, he only has to build 1 palisade to completely surround it, and he's good to go. The downside is, if you surround a watchtower in palisades like Mentalist did, then you can't garrison any villagers inside that. Well, this stone mine now officially off limits, as when it comes to tower rushes, one of the best ways to deal with them is just take your economy, take Bikini Bottom, and move it somewhere else. As we do see that Seoul is just going to take his mining camp, and he's just going to move it over to the right. This is his stone mine now, and this stone mine is protected by a watchtower, so makes it really hard for Mentalist to walk into the zone of denial, and then he's going to get gunned down. As these villagers can just garrison inside this watchtower. Defensive watchtowers are just also a great way to restrict the mobility of your opponent's villagers, make it so he limit where he can build watchtowers. This watchtower placement is also going to be really good, as it is going to poke off these lumberjacks here. They're not going to be able to gather diddly squat, and as I do not think that Mentalist can see that. That's actually literally 1 tile out of Mentalist's line of sight, so Soul here, on fire. The house here, going to try and form a sort of makeshift wall-off, and both players becoming the world's ugliest Venn diagram. 2 cells eating each other. As it looks like someone spilled paint all over the minimap. These blue and red splotches. But it looks like Mentalist wasn't born yesterday. Did he get the Town Watch or something? He did get Town Watch, which is actually a very, very strong upgrade when your opponent is actually 2 inches to your left. That way you get to see everything. It's basically like having a map pack. And these basic little stone walls are going to make it really hard for Mentalist to surround this watchtower. I say that, but you can still surround it on 2 sides, and you're repairing it with 1 villager while these 4 are attacking it. You know, this watchtower is going to go down eventually. The good news is, though, this is very efficient for Seoul, because these 4 villagers that are attacking this watchtower, they're killing it all right, but kind of slowly, and they're not gathering any resources, so that definitely means that, yeah, Mentalist's economy is just looking weak. We compare populations, it's 27 to 30, as Seoul actually ahead in population for, like, the first time this series. But we can't underestimate Seoul, because even though he's definitely been behind in population at many points throughout the series, he also managed to clinch a sick victory last game by just being very, very aggressive. And it really, really paid off in this situation. Looks like Seoul is going to send a bunch of his villagers over here. Some quick walling going on here from Mentalist, trying to protect his villagers so he can take down the watchtower. I don't think I've ever seen someone quick wall their villagers around an enemy watchtower so you can finish the watchtower and protect yourself from enemy villagers. I think I just vomited a little bit in my mouth. What did I just say? He just quick-walled himself right next to an enemy watchtower, so Seoul couldn't repair it or fight his own villagers. Like, that's hilarious. Well, this watchtower I'm sure will go down eventually, As Mentalist here is just, he's got no time for games. He's just going to build his own secondary watchtower over here, and now Seoul can't fuck around anymore and repair this tower, so... That tower's going down, and Mentalist had to invest so much in this because the dude needs stone. He needs a stone mine that he can harvest from safely without being disturbed. And this one's kind of dangerous, but he needs to protect this one, so he can't allow any watchtower shenanigans. Also, you can only move your economy back so many times before you just run out of stuff. Like, it costs 100 wood to build another lumber camp, and then all your villagers are idle for that time period. It does a lot of damage. A lot of damage to your economy. Well, looks like a barracks is coming down from Seoul, and Seoul is going to start mining gold now. So he's thinking about archers, guys. He's got archers on his mind. He wants to go fire some arrows into Mentalist's head. The Mentalist is going to take advantage of this newfound map control. It looks like actually mass outpost is the thing, as we do have one outpost over here so that he can scout out and see if Seoul is up to no good with any new forward watchtower shenanigans. He's going to take advantage of this new map control, build a couple outposts, go back to chopping from this forest, go back to mining that stone, and just kind of expand his economy a little bit. I don't know what's going on over here. This is some sort of MC Escher painting style thing. Bunch of blobs attacking each other. One of these is actually a watchtower, believe it or not, disguised as an outpost, just wearing a watchtower Halloween costume. Wearing an outpost Halloween costume. Watchtower is actually going to go up. Surprise, was not a palisade wall after all, even though they all look the same. And Seoul's going to try and surround this, even though there's just the obstacle course of just garbage. Piles of toothpicks surrounding this watchtower. He will be able to get it on. Eventually, this villager accidentally spawned inside the watchtower, or like on top of it, as he's kind of lost. But don't worry, man. Don't worry, Mentalist. You'll be free soon, as this watchtower is certainly going down. As both players here fighting each other in one of the most depressing Age of Empires 2 fights I've ever seen, ever. This villager here is still trapped. Oh my god, he just phased out of the watchtower. Sick place here from Mentalist. He'll micro his way through buildings. And this villager also goes down, and actually somehow this watchtower lived. I don't even believe that. It's really hard to commentate border disputes seriously, as this map is really entertaining to watch. I love this map. Oh, is Zach leaving now? Oh no, Man's leaving now. Good night, M-Man, Tuner11, great to have you, dude. Okay, so, archers from Seoul. I find it funny that he has both archer rangers over here, but his barracks on the left-hand side, and welcome to border dispute, where everyone's base is everyone else's base. Well, right now, game kinda neck and neck, but if we compare populations, it's sorta evening out. Both players 31 to 32 into 21 minutes, and you know they're playing border dispute when their populations are both that low. It's always hilarious. And as these archers are gonna be poking at these lumberjacks here on the right-hand side of the map, try and get Mentalist off that wood supply. Starve him out! More villagers versus watchtowers. Seoul, gonna try and surround that one, and look at that damage to watchtowers. Villagers do so much damage to watchtowers. Well, Mentalist here with 500 food compared to Seoul having none. This also seems to be a reoccurring trend. I feel like Seoul never has any food, but Mentalist always has too much. It's like Seoul always has a ton of gold, but Mentalist never has any. Coincidence? I think not. More archers moving out eventually, I think. No, he hasn't moved out yet. Still more watchtower pressure going on over here, as Seoul just wants to, deny this gold mine, force a lot of idle time. I mean, both players here just trading a ridiculous amount of idle time. Ooh, will this villager get sniped? Not quite. Neither player has actually built a blacksmith yet to get fletching, but I think that would be very, very strong in the situation. But no player has enough wood that they are able to dedicate to that cause yet. L0223, or Low, says, "This is sad. This game is making me giggle like a little girl. So bad." I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it, yeah. This is border dispute, man. It's a pretty dumb map, but it's amazing. It's an amazing map, and it does require a lot of skill to play, even though it is absolutely a mess. You have to be really, really careful. Like, really careful, and think wisely about where you put your watchtowers. As well as when do you start transitioning into something else? Because Seoul, we see both players here have had radically different playstyles for the entire series thus far, and that's what I really, really like about watching Age of Empires 2, is seeing how the differences in the pros' playstyles affect the outcome of their games, and how these two players really do match up, because they both have very different approaches. I mean, remember guys, Seoul teched into archers, and we see that Mentalist has no archers, actually. He doesn't have any archers of his own yet, so yeah, Seoul putting a little bit more priority on just avoiding the watchtowers and just making actual military units. And believe it or not, even though it looks like Seoul is dumpstering Mentalist right now, Mentalist is still ahead in score. As funny as that is. And a good chunk of it is because Seoul's economy is just in shambles. it's just really hard for him to actually gather anything. I mean, same thing with Mentalist. I mean, Mentalist is actually having to start to protect his town center with a watchtower at the base of it. That's generally pretty bad. Generally pretty bad. Alright, so we see that watchtower here actually being built. Both players have decided to get fletching at this point in the game, now that they both have enough money to be able to afford it. And this means that these watchtowers are even scarier, same thing with the archers. How long can Mentalist defend, and what exactly is he stalling for? If we do recall, Mentalist does have a ridiculous amount of food, which you would think means that he really wants to get to the Castle Age, but the poor guy has 0 gold. He's literally none. He spent 50 gold on... You remember, he started with 100. He spent 50 gold on loom and 50 gold on fletching. He's done. He doesn't mind any gold at all. So Seoul's ace in the hole is that just there's no gold. There's no gold for Mentalist at all. He doesn't mind any gold, and this watchtower is denying that, but his watchtower will go down eventually. And also, like, almost no wood. Like, Mentalist is just running out of places to build, and even though... even though Seoul's behind in score... Even though Seoul is actually behind in score, Mentalist has, like, no economy. So his plan here, and I think this is really cute, and we see a lot of players do this when things get really bad on board dispute. What do you do when you get surrounded with watchtowers? You take a bunch of your villagers, you go on the long march, mass exodus to the bottom of the map, and you build a lumber camp in the middle of nowhere and pray. Pray that your opponent does not see it. Barracks coming down from Mentalist, 28 minutes into the game. Very, very delayed barracks, but he just hasn't had a chance to do it yet. And God, he used a long distance harvest from that forest is so bad. But thankfully he has these villagers snuck over here unseen. We go to Seoul's perspective. He has no idea. And he probably won't discover that until much later. Whoops, I always bump that button. Cool beans. Alright, we're back to normal, guys. Whew. Watchtower here coming down from Mentalist as he really needs to secure this gold. That's what he's trying so very hard to do. Is he wants to build a watchtower here to secure this gold mine and zone away Seoul. But the thing is Seoul already has 2 watchtowers here, and he's like right next to that town center, so the villagers are just going to be able to come out here in droves and pick off that watchtower. I don't think Mentalist gets to get any gold from there at all this game. In fact, I think his one hope is if he could somehow get a gold mine, I don't know, like this one without being detected. But the thing is that Seoul knows that Mentalist must be getting wood from somewhere. So he's sending this group of archers to go patrol. He has these archers over there in the corner. He still hasn't discovered Mentalist's secret barracks. And Mentalist right now is thinking, I'm never going to get to the Castle Age. What do I need to do? I have so much food. What can I spend it on? Scout cavalry. They cost 80 food. And they're also quite good against scouts because they have a lot of HP, a lot of pierce armor. The scouts are really good against archers because the archers do range damage and the scouts have a lot of HP and pierce armor, so they resist that. The scores might be neck and neck, but things are looking really bad for Mentalist. It's going to take a miracle to save him, and by a miracle, I mean a lot of horses. He's going to need a lot of scouts to go deal with this. And without any upgrades, actually, compared to the archers having fletching, no defense upgrade or bloodlines on the scout cavalry, it might not be good enough. But he wants to spend that food. He knows that he's not getting to the Castle Age, and for those of you who wanted to see a game where 2 pros duke it out in the feudal age for 30 minutes, and they never get to the Castle Age or even consider it, then welcome to Border Dispute. As it's really hard to actually get to the Castle Age. But once you do, you basically win, because you're so close to your opponent, right? You can just make siege weapons. I think, though, that if Seoul builds a market at some point soon, he might be able to get to the Castle Age this year. And thank God for Mentalist, as he's still been relatively undetected. I wonder if Seoul suspects anything, seeing these villagers walk down to the bottom side of the map. The scouts are moving out. This is Mentalist's last hope. He's putting his hopes and dreams on the back of these ponies. Will it be enough? He does have the +1 defense there, so that's a very good thing, actually. +1 defense means he'll match up a lot better against those archers with the fletching upgrade. Oh, Sir Jaime Lannister, good to see you, dude. And hello, Wop Wop. And Dowsk. There's one beautiful stallion indeed. Alright, so you see the scout cavalry sitting over here as he's contemplating where to go, but Seoul has so many archers, and he's actually been able to advance the Castle Age. Alright, that's basically all she wrote. I can't imagine Mentalist coming back from this point, but we're going to keep watching anyway. Just in case. Maybe the scouts do enough. I mean, Seoul's army is all on the right-hand side of the map. Does he have anything to go defend his own base? No, because his archer ranges are over here. I find it funny that he actually managed to, you know, he built these 2 houses here. He's got this scorched earth policy. He's like, all right, man, no one gets this gold. I'm building my 2 houses here. You're not going to get it. Make it impossible to saturate. Scout's going to move on out from Mentalist. This is it. This is it, guys. Will those scouts be enough for Mentalist to claw his way back in this game? What a fantastic series between both players so far. I've been really enjoying this. As this villager is down for the count. Gonna get sniped. So, that's one villager, 50 food in exchange for 5 scouts that cost 80 food each. So it's like 400 food, right? It's 400 food. 400 food traded for 50, so he only has to kill a couple more villagers. 2 villagers down. Alright, 100 food. 3 villagers down, 150 food. Oh, 200 food. Alright, so he's almost 50% efficiency there off this attack. That's pretty good. Well, the thing is though, is this not really a fair way of looking at it, considering that these aren't villagers, right? So it's much better to go trade them rather than trade villagers for villagers, so it's still fine. The problem with these scouts, though, and why this probably won't work for Mentalist is that Seoul can just make like a couple spearmen, and spearmen are so strong against scout cavalry in the Castle Age. I mean, the Feudal Age. They're incredibly potent. Like, a spearman, I think they can kill a scout in like 3 hits? Or something ridiculous, so they're just too easy to counter efficiently. Scouts are much better in the early Feudal Age when you can get there before the spearmen even come out, before there are any defenses, but 35 minutes in, no dice, as Seoul is up to the Castle Age. He's going to start pumping out more vills. You think he'll just get crossbow and bodkin arrow upgrade? Yep. Get them timed quite evenly. And Mentalist, no sign of getting to the next age, as I don't think Mentalist has actually gathered any gold the entire game. I actually think he's 0 gold. I think he actually has 0 gold. I don't think he's gathered a single... I've never seen a game of competitive Age of Empires 2 that's lasted 36 minutes, and I've seen a lot of competitive Age of Empires 2. I've seen, I think, every game on AOC Zone pre-2006, at least once. And, like, thousands of games after that. I don't think I've ever seen a game that lasted until 36, 37 minutes in. 2 experts, in which one expert does not get to mine a single piece of gold the entire game. I don't think I've ever seen that. Well, with an economy like this, I mean, Seoul could easily just build a stable, start pumping out some knights. He doesn't have the wood for a stable right now, but he might be thinking knights in the back of his mind. These spearmen patrolling at the back are exactly what he needs to go just stop this attack in his tracks, and... Holy shit, no, Mentalist is going to ruin everything! Oh my god, Mentalist, why you gotta be this way? He's going to build a mining camp on the left-hand side, and he's actually going to get 10 gold. Oh, no, he's actually going to get 10 gold. Major bummer. There goes our record, guys. He's going to get 10 gold. Now, Mentalist is making the right play here, and he's just trying to squeeze everything he can, try and get just something, because he needs to get to the next age. He has enough food where he'll be able to advance relatively soon, but he just needs some gold. And this is what I was talking about. Once you get to the Castle Age, it's all over, as a Siege Workshop plus Battering Ram combination is all you need to crush Mentalist's dreams. Well, Mentalist is doing some heavy raiding with said Scout Cavalry, but the Battering Ram is going to seal the deal for... You know, that's basically it, right? The 2 battering rams is enough. Mentalist is going to have to take, like, all of his villagers off the line to go manually try and kill those battering rams. It'll take too long. I don't think, though, that Seoul has actually found... Yeah, he's only scouted the top half of the map, so that's not necessarily ideal. As in the bottom half, we see that Mentalist has found a new stone mine. He has moved his farmers over here, and he has a safe lumber camp. In fact, he has a market, and Mentalist ain't giving up. In fact... Mentalist wants to buy his way to the Castle Age, guys. He's using the market right now. He's not giving up. And I admire that, as this is the last game of the series, so Mentalist has some points on the line, man. He doesn't want to surrender. I do not blame him. As this forward thing, or I guess his secret base has not been scouted. Has not been scouted yet. Seoul looking around with some crossbows. Lumber camp's finally gonna die. That's 100 wood, guys. That's like GG. Oh, this lumber camp is finally gonna die, and these crossmen looking around. Seoul hasn't found anything, but he is doing exactly what we were talking about earlier, and he realizes his economy is just perfect for knights. This dude's rich! And in the meantime, he can't be rich enough to stop these scouts necessarily. It's the scouts, ooh, almost gonna pick up a villager, but it manages to just barely worm its way into the town center just in time. These villagers have to get pulled off the line to go deal with those battering rams, and then the knights just kill them off. And it looks like Mentalist is going to resign to Seoul! GG, well played. Oh wow, that actually makes the series 2-2 exactly. So these players completely evenly matched. Looks like this series is a draw, a tie between both players. Is Seoul able to seize this victory? Almost deny Mentalist from mining any gold at all. At least didn't get to mine any gold until about 35 minutes in. Oh wait, no, I don't want to quit the game yet. I want to go to the achievements. What a crazy game, as unfortunately, really just what lost them the game there is that Mentalist just wasn't able to get any gold until too late, and without any gold, he wasn't able to make any archers of his own, Seoul was able to make archers because he had access to gold. Mentalist was not able to. He eventually got about 600 gold collected, but it took him a really long time to be able to get to that point. And then he also wasn't able to get to the Castle Age in time because of that. We can see from the resources gathered that this game wasn't particularly close at a point, even though Mentalist was putting up a really, really good fight. And Mentalist was able to survive so long because Seoul never scouted that little secret base at the bottom of the map. So it was a really good decision on Mentalist's part to try and do that. And the market allowed him to basically get up to the Castle Age, but Seoul just managed to get there so much quicker with the extremely fast Castle Age, guys, of 35 minutes in. Too speedy. The map explored really does make a difference, by the way. 87% to 60%. Seoul's kind of playing in the dark. There was so much stuff on the bottom of the map they didn't see. And what I think is crazy is that, the villager count, again, not too different. It's really more or less the military, because there's so many crossmen for Seoul. Seoul had just access to gold, and that's really what sealed the deal in the end. This game is pretty close, but the Castle Age kind of clinched it, as Mentalist was never really able to get out too much military besides a couple of scout cavalry. So, GG, well played, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this series as much as I did. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to the next time I get to do this for you. Hopefully not so late at night so I can be slightly more awake for this, and hopefully I get to do some co-casting with ZeroEmpires as soon as both of us are actually available to do some games. Time zones, guys. Ugh, this is a fun series. It was actually really close, like 2-2. Game 1 was ridiculous, though. Game one was ridiculous. These two players are very, very evenly matched, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. I look forward to the next series I get to bring for you guys, which I do believe is on this Thursday. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, then I'll probably have already done it, but you can just find the live stream schedule like on my Twitch TV page. You scroll underneath the video player, you can find it right there. I do believe that on July 16th, at 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific time, I will also be doing more of the Empire Collective, yes. Yeah, thanks, ZeroEmpires. ZeroEmpires says the last two games look solid. Yeah, I really enjoyed those. So we're gonna get out of this. Jump back to my BRB screen. Perfecto. Always the time zones. Oh, it's my pleasure, Dale. It's my pleasure. I'm just happy to be here, man. Which of the first three games the best? I mean, I say that game 1 was pretty ridiculous, wop wop, but I thoroughly enjoyed all of them. Thank you, Flatch. Appreciate it. You sometimes watch the Zero BBQ Tyrant Wars 1 just for giggles. Oh yeah, the barbecue empires. All the memories. You miss barbecues, wacky Wednesdays? Yeah, don't we all? This is the Fun Day Monday of Age of Empires 2. It was a lot of fun. It is Wednesday in the United States. Well, it's almost Wednesday. We're 2 minutes. 2 minutes to Wednesday. Yeah, before it became just Sling the Mayans, indeed. Yeah, that's a metagame I'm not the biggest fan of. Tell them that the winner needs to post the Rex. Well, they're already gone. Oh, no, Soul's still here. The winner, I think. Shouldn't Robo know that? He's the admin. It's okay. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support as always. You can find more matches on my YouTube page, but most of them will be on ZeroEmpires' YouTube page. And that's where most of the games will be streamed as well. Look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. I'm gonna, take a brief BRB, but if anyone wants to ask me a quick question before I guess, head out for the night, then I'll be back in, a minute. I'm gonna run an ad in the meantime, as I haven't ran an ad since 1991, and I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm gonna take a brief break. I'm gonna be back in, 1 minute, and then I'll do a quick Q&A, and then I'm done for the night. So I'll see you all in just a second.